Hi, and welcome back to Leading Blind. Today I'm doing something a little bit different and backtracking some old routines because this is my Hellraiser Tag. My apologies for any background noise. My son is still home for summer and, well, I've got to make videos sometimes. I'm hoping this one will hold me over until school starts this year. What is your favorite Hellraiser movie and why? Well, I'd have to say my favorite is probably the first one. It is a classic. It has some of the best lines. It makes the most sense. And it's very gray because they don't make the Cenobites act like demons. I mean, they say they are demons to some and angels to others, but that's the point. They're not demons. It depends on how you perceive them. I like 2 very much. I like 3 a little bit. 4 is probably my next favorite. I think that's actually the first Hellraiser movie I actually sat through. All of them except for Judgment have their charms in one way, shape, or form. I don't like Revelations, but it's kind of a guilty pleasure at the same time, so I'll just go with the first one. Who is your favorite human character? Kirsty. She makes the most sense. She's probably the bravest. There are a lot of good female characters and male characters in the series as a whole, but very few of them pull together the way Kirsty does. So I guess I just have to leave it with the original Survivor Hellraiser girl. Favorite Hellraiser scene? I'm assuming they're asking from the entire series, but let's go back to the original again, because for me, the most impactful scene for me and probably anyone else is when Kirsty opens the box and the Cenobites appear for the first time, and we get a good look at them, we hear their voices, and Pinhead basically tells us what they're all about. It is artistic, intense, very well acted, brilliantly done, just brilliantly done. It's my favorite Hellraiser scene ever, I think. Favorite Hellraiser quotes? Oh, shit. We'll tear your soul apart. We have such sights to show you. What's your pleasure, sir? Let's see. What about the second one? To think I hesitated. Now all we need is some skin. Shall we begin? Do I look like someone who cares what God thinks? Jesus wept, of course. I think that's all the good quotes from all the actual other movies, too, so there you go. Those are my favorite quotes, because I don't have just one. Couldn't ever have them. Favorite Cenobite? That's easy. Pinhead. I love the background story to Pinhead's character. I love his lines. I love Doug Bradley's charisma playing him. Everything about Doug Bradley's Pinhead is amazing. I don't know what else to say about him. Other than that, I would probably have to say Sister Celise. She's the female Cenobite from 1 and 2. I didn't even know her name until I watched Dave Steakin's reviews of the series. I just think she looks the coolest. What is the worst Hellraiser movie and why? Well, as I just said, Judgment. Judgment is a steaming pile of elephant shit. And that has absolutely no redeeming quality whatsoever. There was one tiny thing that happened that would have been interesting if Prophecy hadn't already pulled it off. Very, very well. Prophecy 2, technically. But, that would have been it, and it didn't. It failed miserably. It has nothing whatsoever to actually do with Hellraiser, and the guy who created it should have fucking known better. If you were a Cenobite, what would you look like? I think that I would probably be dismembered multiple times. Like every single digit, every single ligament of the arms and legs, probably my head, my toes, my ankles. and I would be sewn back together repeatedly with piano wire and like a really thick, like maybe a donning needle or something. So I would always have like these crisscrosses of thick piano wire on me. It could even be in my ears, sewing the cartilage part to my skull. Could be in my nose and my lips. I think I would have needles replacing my eyelashes after they were torn out, like pinning my eyelids wide open, and that would be hell for me. That would be the masochistic part on their side, because I'm super sensitive about my eyes, as you guys can imagine. I also think that my hair would be like pulled back to like the point where I was starting to scalp. And my nipples would probably also be strung through with piano wire until the point where they were getting like yanked closer and closer together. So the sides would rip. Like the skin under my arms would start to rip. And then, because it would be extra painful and torturous, I would have spray-on latex pretty much all over my body. I mean, it might not be on my face and stuff like that, but it would definitely be on like my torso and my limbs. You know, maybe the piano wire would even go into my belly button. You know, just different areas that would hurt, especially with a big old needle. So, although some of that would be a rated X movie, it didn't say it had to be for a movie. So that's my guess on what I would look like as a Cenobite. I would look like something between a Cenobite and, you know, Robbie's poor ordeal when his braces went nuts in Poltergeist 2. What was your first Hellraiser movie? Well, I think I saw one all the way through first, or Bloodlines. As I said, I wasn't sure. But the first movie I was ever exposed to was 2. And I was very, very young. The only things I remembered were a death mattress, a really bloody mattress that killed people. That was how I interpreted it. And candles. Except the way I remembered them growing up was more like in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, when Indy is tripping balls and you just see him lying on that peninsula with the candles around him. That was how I remembered that scene from Hellraiser 2 in Hell. So that was all I actually remembered from it, but I was super young. I think I was in 3rd or 4th grade, and even though I wasn't a sheltered child and could watch pretty much anything I wanted, I was watching Flesh and Blood in 4th grade, and if you don't know that movie, look up Rutger Hauer. This movie terrified me. I spent most of that movie buried in my father's armpit until I think he finally turned it off and took me out of the room. I don't remember if he actually did that or not. He usually just went, hey, if you're in the room, you gotta suffer the consequences. That's how my parents kind of were. But I think they rented it for my brother. And I still to this day don't know how he felt about that movie. I probably wouldn't have been into horror movies if it wasn't for him anyways. So, yeah, Hellraiser 2, Hellbound. I love it today, but when I was that age and growing up and trying to get over the many nightmares I had of a killer mattress surrounded by candles, fuck that! And that was my Hellraiser tag. I wish I could tag some more people. I don't really know anyone who isn't already planning to do it or hasn't done it already, but I will try and probably fail miserably to tag Deus Deacon and Spooky Astronauts. Good luck with that.